Welcome to All Ball. Format unique, all access for all y'all. What the spiel like? Back full of elite athletes that wanna teach and it speaks to the streets, so it feel right. Marcus Liberty, a legend on and off the coat to give you what you need. Robert Reed is your co-host. Go. Yeah. Like and subscribe and follow like a crossover. Never know what might fall through this bitch tomorrow. So All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All I know is All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All I know is All Ball Chicago.
Welcome to another edition of All Ball Chicago. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed, and I got the legends, the NBA veteran, the McDonough All-American, your host, Marcus, living in the building. What's up, Marcus?
What's up, my beautiful people?
What's going on, Marcus? And we got a special guest coming in here today. Man, this man is a hood legend. He played basketball in the streets. He did his thing in college, man. I can't wait to get him on, man. And he got a history, man. His family got a history in Chicago, man. Their family is legendary. If you ain't never heard of the Ford family in Chicago, you've been under a rock, Liv. What you say, bro?
Facts, man, facts. We actually did a show about Johnny, but it was with his the guy who helped him with the documentary and is one of his good friends. So we wanted to actually get Johnny on so Johnny can, because we always say this, can't nobody tell your story better than you. So
That's right.
we got Johnny. He's going to be joining us in a few and just share his story, man, because we all been through some things in life, and how we get through those things is totally up to us. And I think Johnny did a great job of getting his life back together and doing what he wants to do, which he's doing training, and I think he's doing some real estate, things in Chicago, and and still doing the health and fitness thing too as well. So I think that's great that he's doing that, man. And I think his story can help a lot of youngsters right now who's in those streets, who's doing those same things that he was doing back in the day.
Yeah, man, you're right, man. It's crazy, man, how, he actually got the blueprint to guys who play ball in the streets that was cold, but also dipping and dabble with a little bit of that dope life. So, because Liv, a lot of guys did it, but he did it big.
Right.
And people don't understand, like, the two worlds went together back in the days in the 80s, if you think about it. And it seems like my screen is fading out. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, you're kind of moving. Yeah, it is. But I mean,
but back in the days, guys was top flight basketball players and top flight drug dealers at the same time, Liv.
Yeah. It's hard, man. Chicago. No, I'm just gonna say hard in big cities, right? It's hard to be a hooper and not get that recognition from the streets. It's always gonna go inside with each other. The hoopers in the streets are always gonna mix with each other because some street guys played basketball, but they just went totally to the streets, but they still had their hands in the basketball side. So if you had a name in any big city, those street guys were gonna come and mess with you, meaning, man, you need something, I got you, young fellow, or whatever it may be, and sometimes that's appealing to some athletes.
Oh, man, it's appealing to a lot of athletes. And you know what? A lot of us are from those streets, man. Grew up in those ghettos and stuff like that. So a lot of these guys were our best friends. So, we can't create a divide with the streets, man, because the street basketball is where it all started for everybody. And that's why the worlds go hand in hand. I mean, we can name off a ton of people, but until he get on, man, let's talk about the Chicago Pro-Am, man. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And I know you wasn't him, but Sonny Parker did a big-time summer league up here, Liv. Was you aware of that? Did you follow any of that?
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen before it happened, because I keep my ears to the streets, man, back home. So I knew that he was doing this already, but I wasn't going to be the one to, put that out there. But I knew Sonny was in the works of doing some great things, getting that pro-am, getting Chicago pro-am back out there to where it used to be, where fans can come out and enjoy it and not, get into any trouble or things like that. But you still can see your star players, even if it was some of those guys like a Stephon Hanner, who people remember when he was at Hyde Park. He's still out there hooping. And then my man Sean Wright, Trash Son, is the next big thing coming out of Chicago, man, because they said he put on a show.
Yeah, I was wanting to mention that, man. It's crazy, man, that I didn't know who he was because we had did a sports trade All-American game at this high school out here, and he came to it in 2019 because he came out in 2019.
Right.
And he was killing, but I didn't know who he was. So Colin was like, "Oh, Dad, he was that was the kid that was there." I was like, "Oh, that was him," because he's super aggressive. Every time he get it, he looking to go get a bucket.
Yeah, and his nickname is No Good.
No.
Hey, but man, I see Johnny's in our back, man. He's in the back room, man. So let's go ahead and give him his introduction, man, and then
we got the legend Johnny Ford coming on here, man. He did his things in the streets hooping. He did his thing in college, man. He's one of the top players to ever come out of Chicago. We're gonna let him tell his own story because he got a documentary out, The Redemption of Johnny Ford. Let's bring on Johnny Ford, man, the man.
Hey, what's happening? What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
How you doing, Johnny Ford?
Man, I'm good.
I'm hanging in there, just happy right now, a lot of things, the last couple of years where I've been home on house arrest for like 2 years. But I was gone for like 11 and a half, 12, incarcerated in the federal system, which is crazy now. It's just the whole system, the federal system is bananas now. It's not even the same like a long time ago when they had the old guys that was really far as getting money and like that. It's not even that no more. The federal system is terrible. Because they got they got these guys on fentanyl like it's crazy. 5 bags of fentanyl gets you like 15 years mandatory now. So you got a bunch of guys with no money in the federal system the last 5 or 10 years. You know what I'm saying? The time when people had money, the guys was really doing it, that's not happening no more. So the federal system now, you got guys with no money, and you got the like child molesters, which is they're taking over. Like if it's 1,800 people, if it's 1,800 people on the compound, you probably got 900 child molesters. Like like the situation like R. Kelly type thing. Most of them are white, but you got a lot of black child molesters too. You know what I'm saying? So it's the federal system ain't what it used to be at all. It's terrible.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm trying to educate people just on the system. They think going to jail is like a badge of honor and all that. No, never. You know what I'm saying? I hate it every day. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of the street guys that did it for real on the streets, and I hate it every day in that place. You see what I'm saying? It's not a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? It don't make you this cool cat, all of this good guy. You know what I'm saying? But once you gotta understand, once a guy get there, he finds this out. You know what I'm saying? A person now, they got these young guys in the federal system, 21, 22 years old with 30, 40 years, right? They ain't lived out there. It's really hard for them. At least if you go to jail like later, like in your 30s, when the times get hard, you can go in your memory of all the good things you did in the world to get you through them bad days. When you're 21, 22, you ain't done nothing. So that's why homosexuality and just the whole mental illness it's really crazy in the federal in any system right now. Mental illness is people they ain't there for crime, but the mental illness of it is, oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Johnny, man, it's a privilege, man, to be talking to you, man, because you did a lot of great things in Chicago, man, and we know you relocated and did your thing in high school in another part of not our state, but borderline. You did your thing out there in Indiana, but I always like to start off before we get to the meat and the potatoes of the conversation. Who put the rock in Johnny Ford's hand? Who put the rock in your hand, man?
A long time ago. I think it was like my mom's boyfriend at the time. And it was crazy. They was playing ball on 37 in Michigan, like it was Raymond elementary school. And I just wonder why all these guys around this ball, like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't understand the game. Back then the day they played 21. So you playing 21, it's one basketball, it's 40 guys. I'm like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I never understood that back then. You remember 21?
Of course, varsity.
100 people. I'm like, what's happening with this? You know what I'm saying? And that's when my knowledge of that and my curiosity came. I should watch it because that area, 37, Michigan, Indiana, that was like oh my God. Our area on the low end for basketball is really the mecca of basketball. You gotta understand. I went to Douglas, so you had Mel, Raymond, you know what I'm saying, everybody, Donahue, you know what I'm saying? Then with the King and Phillips, that situation, like I can remember what made me really want to play. I went to see King. King played Hales Francisco. Okay. You're gonna remember this. They played Hales Francisco. When they had Willie Scott, Tyrone Amos, Teddy Grubbs, Michael Bland. See, I'm talking about the, you know what I'm saying? I'm watching them in a layup line. I'm like, oh my God, because people understand how special Teddy Grubbs was. Kenny Cummings was all right, but Teddy Grubbs was another animal. Another animal, you know what I'm saying? And the stuff that happened to DePaul was so unfortunate because Teddy Grubbs was that special kid. The 6'9", 6'10" with the 40-inch vertical. He was just special, really. And King had him, the Ethan Winters then. You know what I'm saying? I played against them guys, man. Like me watching, Marcus, you know what I'm saying, come up, for real. Marcus, like you said, when I read it, Marcus was 6'9", 6, the special guy he was back then. You know what I'm saying? He was really like LeBron back then, just without all you know what I'm saying? All the social media, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Khalil was no more. Let me tell you something. When you're number one player in the country in Chicago, it's hard. You know why it's so hard? Because it's so hard to get there. Yes. Usually, when you good early, the pub, the people around it get in your head and kills you. Yes. Like just a prime example, Tracy Dildy. Tracy Dildy, freshman, sophomore year. Well, nobody better. Tracy Danley could have went pro at his freshman, sophomore year. By the time they were seniors, he couldn't mess with Tim Hardaway, like basically caught him. You see what I'm saying? But them first 2 years, Tim wasn't in his league. You see what I'm saying? Because people probably got in Tracy's head. He was good, but his growth probably didn't go as high as should. You know what I'm saying? Because when you great in Chicago early, people get in your head. You think you ain't got to do it no more. The hunger kind of leaves. So for Marcus to be number one player in the country his senior year, that shows you had some good people, good family background, and he really wanted to do it. And he kept the noise back then out of his head.
Wow. Appreciate that. That's facts, too. Yeah, that's facts.
Marcus is all right.
So that's what happened, man. So your mom had a boyfriend. He introduced you. Then you saw 21. They playing 21. And you're like, man, what is this, man? 40 guys in one basket. And to me, just listening to the story, right? Because we hear stories all the time. That's what makes you tough, though, right? So you seeing all these guys and you trying to score, you trying to get the ball. You got to go get the ball first. If you don't get the ball, you don't score.
Right. But then I go to school. I go to Douglas, right? Which back then in that time of year was like the basketball. I don't know. It's a factory. I'm under Bernard Jackson, Carl Golston. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing under that era. You know what I'm saying? We're in the same gym. And Coach Frazier, who Coach Phillips, was a great coach because he wasn't one of them coaches to tell you how to do it. Like I remember one time we did a drill. And Bernard Jackson ripped me 3 times in a row. I'm going right. He ripped me 3 times in a row. The 4th time I spin shoot with my left hand layup. And Coach Smith said, "It's about got." He makes sure you do it. He ain't gonna tell you what to do. He said, because when you get it, you got it. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how he was the coach, and it helped your growth. It helped your growth. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, because everybody went to Douglas and basically went to Phillips. You know what I'm saying? Me and Ronnie Lester was the only one that was really great at Douglas went somewhere else. He was the dumb ball, went to quarters, I got went to Indiana. But everybody he makes sure you go to Phillips. The top 3 players, you go into Phillips. You know what I'm saying? It just, we was, Douglas it was a mecca of basketball back then, so that kind of helped,
Hey Johnny, it didn't work out for you at Corliss with Mr. Young?
Mr. Young was crazy. He didn't know what he had. Like for example, like think about it. I came to him. He didn't recruit me. I just came because I couldn't go to Phillips. So he didn't know I was coming there. He didn't know what he had.
Right.
I'm the number two eighth grader in the state.
Right.
Flip is number one. You know, Shepherd.
Shepherd.
He
Oh, wow.
He number one my 8th grade year, and he should have been because he was that same height. He never grew though. He was 6'3", big hands, dunking like Dr. J. He should have been number one. You know what I'm saying? You know, Fred
Flip was a grown man back then.
Yes, he was dunking that ball like Doc in 8th grade. For real. I thought
people were intimidated.
Man, in my era, my 8th grade, you know, you remember the kid that played for Indiana, Daryl Thomas? That's my, you know what I'm saying? Daryl Thomas was number 3.
Big tall Daryl Thomas.
He won a pass.
He recently passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, when they won a championship, Daryl Thomas was number 3. So man, it was we had a hell of an 8th grade class. So and Young got the best. He had the second best 8th grade in the state, who came to his school and he didn't recruit him. He don't even know nothing about me.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was. You know.
Wow. So is that one of the so is that one of the reasons why you left? Yeah,
I left because he said really. I figured my freshman year, you know, we was good, but my sophomore year, beginning of my sophomore year, I'm thinking he on the phone talking to a coach about he got a nice little point guard, he think gonna be great, about Skippy. I'm thinking he's talking about me. He's talking about my best friend John Basson. You know what I'm saying? I said, I heard the conversation. He to this day he never knew I heard that conversation. I heard the conversation on the phone. I'm coming out of the locker room, heard the conversation. I said, oh man, he ain't got plans for me. Let me get up out of here. And that's where the Indiana direction went. You know what I'm saying? But you know, because you know, right? But John was like his future. He can, you know what I'm saying? I guess he probably figured he can control because John was, you know, disciplined. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the low end. I had a program like really and truly. My biggest regret is I should have never went to college out of high school. I should just went straight because I got worse in college. Wow. You know, I'm 6'5", 6'6". I got the clear out game. I got all the tricks, and you know, I got a 40-inch vertical. The college thing slowed me down, but you know what I'm saying. I was 17 years old as a freshman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For real. But I had all the bag of tricks in my awesome as a 17-year-old. But probably mentally, I probably, you know what I'm saying, wasn't there. But physically, it was no question. It was, you know what I'm saying. I was there, but you know, back then going to college, you know, that was a big deal. But really, me going to college hurt my game.
Wow. They took all your creativity.
Right. I signed with Lou, you know, and Lou had a great system. You know, he don't recruit nobody, and he don't recruit nobody's position to that person's a junior. So when you come in as a freshman, you play 1 year under him, and then your sophomore year is your baby. And then when you become a junior, he had a system like that. You know what I'm saying? I came in, Confino was a senior. I played on the Confino with him, and this is my baby. You see what I'm saying? That's how they do it. I signed out the first year that you signed early. I signed early for the recruit stuff. He leave in May. I'm stuck with George Rodman. Oh my God, the worst guy in the world.
Wow, and just listening to you say that, you would think it would be the opposite, you know, with a coach like, you know, coming in, an African American coach, you know, black, you know, you think he would want to, you know, look out for you guys, you know, more Liberty, so.
He was so white, Liberty. He was so white inside.
Wow.
When I talked to him on the phone, right? I never met George Rodman. When I talked to him on the phone, you know the first thing I said to him? I said, I thought we said we had a black coach. That shows you. That's the first thing I said to him. I said, I thought we had a black coach at Iowa. He said, I am black. Oh my God. So he wanted to be like Bobby. He wanted to be like Bobby Knight so much. You know what I'm saying? I can remember a game. We played. We had Indiana. You know, we played Steve Alford. You know, we played Indiana. We up. You know, we lose at the buzzer. He get mad. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be Indiana, especially with Bobby Knight down there. We lose a buzzer beater. This man mad. He made us come home and he had some like horse shit in the gym and made us play around like we played like, you know what I'm saying? We lost. We played great. We lost on the buzzer beater. You know, but the team we had was so good. Then think about the team. We had Greg Stokes. We had Michael Payne, Confino, Andre Banks. We had a whip. We was ranked 4th in the country my freshman year, and he messed. George Rodman messed all that up. We wound up being 14-14 that year.
Wow, damn.
So coaches will make you or break you, man.
Oh my God! Like y'all can't. You gotta understand this. As far as the system, you can't really say who's better, because if I go to a place where he gonna let me do my thing, I'm good. Prime example: Winston Garland. He played with me in 8th grade. I killed them all, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Shit, Winston, go pro, play 8, 9 years.
Yeah, he did.
In the system.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
He did.
Right.
He went to the right JUCO, went to the right 4-year school, went
So,
second
Johnny,
round, played in the league.
So
It's based on,
Johnny,
you know what I'm saying?
so Johnny, think of this, right? Like I do the same thing, man. I be going through this stuff too, man. And I was probably like you because you were older than me, right? That we already knew the game, and then you get with these coaches that try to coach you so much that it messes up your game instead of helping your game. And you see that a lot. We see that a lot, man. Still today, we see that a lot. The kids think because they chose this school and the coach gonna do right by you. The coach then saw you, right, Johnny, hoop and high school. You was doing your thing, and then when they get you, it's like they don't even understand. And that's mind-boggling to me that coaches would do that to change up your game. And you win more if you let me be me.
But Marcus, it's like this. If you want to bring it, if you want to dumb it down to like reality, like what's happening in today's life, in real life, it's like you see a girl with long hair, high heels, and you love her and you marry her. Soon as you marry her, you tell her, I don't like them heels. I don't like your hair long.
Right.
That's what got you. That's what made me attract to you initially, right?
Right.
Now when I get you, I don't even want it.
Right. I
You
feel
see what I'm
you. I
saying?
feel you. I feel you.
And that's what's happening with see, I'm doing a special too, like talking about just top athletes and just going to school on a visit. Think about it. When you go on your visit, you know, everybody love you. Marcus Libby this, Johnny Ford this. You know, you got people in the stores. Oh, can't wait to get here. Can't wait to do this. So you sign in August, right? You sign in August. The same people talk about Marcus Libby or walk past you.
Yes.
They let you know that it was all a game.
Right.
It was all a game. Once you signed with that school, it was all a game. Another thing that's so crazy is you come to school in August, September they recruit on your top of your head. They bring recruits in. So you ain't that. You just a piece of meat. You understand that. That's a lot for a person in our culture to come through. You know what I'm saying? And in the circle to come through, to get through. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to worry about recruiting. They recruit on your head. You only been on campus 30 days.
Right.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You're at a big time university, right? You go into a college, your class, right? I had a psychology class. It was 8,000 people in that class. I'm like, what is this? You see what I'm saying? As a 17-year-old, you know what I'm saying?
But you was at Iowa State. You was at Iowa, right?
Iowa. They talk about take notes. Take notes, man. I'm thinking we finna go to a play or concert. It's 8,000 people in this room.
Yeah,
right.
That's
Iowa's a big school, man. That's Big Ten.
Yeah, right. But it's like Big Ten back then was like anybody playing the Big Ten was going pro anyway. That's how tough it was back then. But I'm just talking about like the educational background and just the educational part of it, where you gotta. It's overwhelming for a person that's 17, 18 years old.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like they tell you like in practice, in school, they ain't gonna give you no curfew, but when you gotta be at practice on the floor at 6 o'clock in the morning, you make your own curfew. They ain't gonna tell you what time you gotta go to bed. Because you probably got to drive a half an hour to get to the arena. So I mean, you got to get up probably at 4:30. They ain't gonna tell you got to be in bed probably at 9. Your body, your sleep patterns and all that's gonna tell you. So it's a big thing that people need to know as far as being a top athlete. You know what I'm saying? And they don't know till they get there. That's why like the suicide rate and all that stuff is kind of high in athletic in sports. And the pressure of being great is so high.
I didn't know that.
Just think about it.
The suicide rate is high.
It's high, like especially with women's.
Oh,
you just seen like the last couple of years, these women, women have killed themselves because the pressure trying to do this. My thing is, I say I didn't want to go back to the streets. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to back. I'm from the low end. Man, I got to make this. I got to make it. You know what I'm saying? So that drove me. You know what I'm saying? That kept me like ahead of the game. But sometimes being too good for certain coaches, it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's a bad thing for real. Because you gotta have a coach that really has your interest and really like you.
Yeah,
like
that's the clear path to get to the league. Because even Mark Aguirre said that if he hadn't went to Ray Meyer, ain't no telling what could have happened for him. Whereas J.J. Anderson went to where'd he go? Bradley. Yeah.
And
J.J. Anderson was a much better scorer than Mark.
Oh
coming up.
JJ averaged 44 in high school. JJ can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? JJ can do it, man. I watched JJ. They had great teams up at Bradley with with Thurkill and Reese and Willie Scott. Yeah, JJ can do it, man. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, you got it. It's that system. It's the right place.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at players who probably put up numbers. It just went to the wrong place.
Yeah.
But like I told everybody know, I should never went to college. That's what happened.
That's what
we got a bunch of money for going, but I should never went to college. You know what I'm saying? The business, but where I should have went, I would have probably signed. I really should have signed with Oregon State.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Because Ralph Miller let you, man. He ain't say nothing. Let you go. All he gonna do is smoke a whole pack, 2 packs of cigarettes a day. That's all he gonna But he gonna let you. Ralph Miller gonna let you do what you do. If you're a guy, look like Gary Payton. He gonna let you play.
Right.
He let you play. Like the prime example, like in college, like when I got to Tech, it took me a whole year to get back in the system of playing basketball the right way. Because I was at Iowa, they had me playing like a robot. So I go to Tech, man, they average 100 a game with Dale and Young. They got 4-5 starters. You know what I'm saying? That Tech stuff. Woo, man, we just put up crazy numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Do you see that comment down there
from Ron?
From Ron. Johnny, he says it's a rumor that Tim McAllister schooled you at a camp in front of Luke. Clear this up.
No, Tim and this never. Come on, Tim was my man. We was great friends for one, and we never played at camp together. That's the second thing. But what happened was, our senior year, it was a regular season game. It's just some history. I was really sick, had the flu, like bad, crazy, but I ain't telling nobody. Right. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's a big game today. I got to play in this game. I probably had like 20. But Tim probably had like 30, 35 that game. You see what I'm saying? This is one of the breakout games he had. You know what I'm saying? So he had like a better game that time. But then I caught him in a sectional. We played to go downstate, and the numbers was reversed. So you call it what you want. Like Tim, let me tell you, we played together in 8th grade. We coming up together. Like Tim should have been one of the guys that played in the league for sure. You know what I'm saying? For real, Tim was 6'2", 6'3". He shot it like Steph. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the first black guys I seen shoot it with that form like Ray Allen. Tim McAllister had it in like in 8th grade.
Where did he end up going to school?
He went to Oklahoma. He played with Raymond Tisdale, started his freshman year.
Oh, okay.
You know what Tim? I ain't gonna lie. What Tim did better than me, he shot the ball better than me. That's it. You know what I'm saying? As far as anything else, I'm 6'5", 6'6", whatever. I handle, whatever. He shot the ball better than me, no question. I can never deny that. You know what I'm saying? So anybody want to say that, but we visit Iowa together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We both, they wanted both of us to go there. I was going, like we both probably went to Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma. They both wanted us to come there together, but they wanted both of us at Iowa. You know what I'm saying? For real, it was at the time, because we played together all the time. Like we played a lot of All-Star games together. So he's a two guy, so he wasn't a point, so we could play together.
Right.
It wasn't like he was a two guy. He was a point guy. He could play the point, but his ball handling wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He wasn't created like that. Tim was fundamentally sound because he played with a coach that he drilled him to death. Tim could have been way better than what he was, but he had to wait 3 years for his turn. He was the best player on their team his freshman year, but the coach made him wait 3 years to senior year to let him do his thing. That's how his coach was.
But anyway, both of y'all had game, right? So that's when I hear stuff like this comment right here that he got the best of you. What both of y'all are probably was prolific type scorers, right? Who can get you buckets, right? So whoever comes out on top, it really doesn't really matter because somebody's always gonna win and somebody's always gonna lose. It's always that.
Yeah. Because I think Liv, you know how I go in basketball. If you got your rhythm and you in rhythm, I don't care if I'm better than you. You in rhythm, that bat's gonna be like the ocean. I ain't gonna be able to stop you no way. You see what I'm saying? As an athlete, we people. You gotta understand this. People who make them type of comments never play that game for real.
Mm-hmm. Never
done it for real. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because if you got your rhythm going, I can just try to stay in front of you. You know what I'm saying? If you shoot it like that, like you going 15 for 14, I can't do nothing with that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you hitting that thing and it touches just the bottom, you know what I'm saying? touch just the bottom. You know what I'm saying? For real. You know, when you start doing things with your weak hand, you ain't rep them. People gotta understand the game. My thing with Tim is I love him. Matter of fact, I'm trying to find him now. You know what I'm saying? Because the man was great. You know, I took him to my mom's house a long time ago. Great family. When we was coming up, anybody I wanted to make the NBA, I wanted him to make it. Because I had me out. I knew if I didn't make it, I'm going to the street. You know what I'm saying? So for real, you know what I'm saying? For real. I always said that, I knew I had my second thing, was, I don't make it the NBA. All right, I'm still good regardless. I'm gonna live the same life I live, you know what I'm saying? And do it that way. I knew that coming up. So that was my pressure. I had pressure, but I'm gonna be good regardless. It happened like that.
Right. Hey, can we spin on that real quick though? Because me and Lil was talking about that before you came on, Johnny, how most of the guys that was really good like you, if they didn't make it to the league, they would pivot in that direction. Did you find that to be the thing of the past?
Oh my God, that was the past. That was the norm.
Right.
that was the norm. And you know why though? Really, that happened because we really thought we were gonna be in the league, so we want to live that life, and that her streak was the only reason.
Oh man, we lost him.
Oh damn!
His phone probably run. Somebody
it's
probably
wrong, man.
Yeah, it's somebody probably tried to call him. But yeah, man, that's funny, man. And just listening to Johnny talk, man, it's
exciting, man.
You could tell that he's a smart young man for one.
Exactly.
Right? And just hear the other part of how he got into it. We already know his upbringing, his father and his uncle. So I want to get to that, man. So y'all just bear with us. He'll come back in. I think we lost him on that.
He was just gonna get to the nitty gritty.
So, but man, big shout out to the people on our timeline. We definitely gonna get to the comments too.
You got it back?
Get the comments, yeah. So yeah, go ahead. What was the question again?
No, he was just elaborating on how people was transitioning from, if they didn't make it to the league, they were gonna go to street hustling.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the thing is though, we wanted some, the things of life, to live life as an NBA player. So that's what probably drove us to the street. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can remember a time like me and Tim Hardaway was kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? And he went to the league. I didn't, but we had the same toys. I probably got more toys. You see what I'm saying? For real, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it go. You come home. I was driving that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was getting out the showroom flow for regardless. Because how we did in the streets was like, when it's a different. You got guys on the street selling bags, all that stuff. Mine was another level. I was on some other stuff. You see what I'm saying? For real, and the life you live was comfortable to the NBA. I can remember a time I was at the club and Ron Mercer was in there and he banned like Cristal. I like, nigga, that ain't nothing, man. I said, dude, I got 100 in my backpack right now, dude. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait. You gotta call your account and get your money. I got mine here. So yeah.
I remember driving. I used to live, so I was on the low end. So I remember walking past the Click and all these the Heroes and all these clubs. I'm like, man, look at all these nice cars. And then people were like outside, man, oh, that's Johnny and them in there, man. They in there deep. I'm like, man. And I was like in awe by it because you're right. I see the fancy cars and I'm like, damn, who car is that? And they're like, oh man, that's Johnny's car right there, man. And I'm like, oh, okay. This how they do it. Because I was too young to get the club, so I couldn't get in it, but I was watching y'all from afar. Like, damn, man, he deep too. He got about 50 people with him. So watching that, man, it was crazy, man, just to see. And then on top of that, Johnny, you were kind of born into that type of setting. Most people don't have family members in it like that deep, and so tell some of our listeners about that, man. Like, how you just you got involved in that just like that.
Well, it's kind of like like I lived like it's like a double life really when I was growing up. I used to like go on my dad's side of the family on the weekends, and my mom really never have a clue what was happening. But I was probably like in training, But then I go back home, with my mom, I was just this guy. I mean, playing ball and everything, but the other side of my life was always about doing something different. It was a great thing. Like with my uncle, people never they hear a lot of things misconstrued. You know what I'm saying? They think about Jeff Ford and think about some negative things, but I'm here to tell you, man, the things you done for the community was second to none. When you got, like I tell you, these people like the Mount Carmel people, you see what I'm saying? These white people that was getting their butt beat like every day. You know what I'm saying? Because you had to go through you go to the Woodline area to get to Mount Carmel. And he stopped all that, you know what I'm saying? When I say busting them up, robbed them, everything, he stopped that, for years. Nobody touched on white kids. You see what I'm saying? But these are the same, but 20 years later, these are the same white people that become judges and prosecutors who don't even understand, don't give him no mercy, no nothing, and just try to just basically kill him. But if he could have let that stuff happen a long time ago, they wouldn't even be here. You see what I'm saying? See, people understand that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like he had my grandma that makes, my grandma had these big old industrial pots and pans in the house. I never knew why. He had them cooking for like the whole neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? That's what he was about, you know what I'm saying? People get it misconstrued, It was a lady that lived next to the fort. She never locked her door as long as the fort was there. She said she was the safest ever when the fort was there. She lived right next door to the fort. You know the fort on Draxler. She never locked her door on the low end. She never locked her door until they tore the place down. See, they got this negative, negative thing about ones. It's like the Larry Hoover, you know what I'm saying? These people was great in their era and made things make sense. Yeah. They understand, you know what I'm saying? Right now, ain't nobody. They took our leadership away. You ain't got to worry about nobody. You know what I'm saying? When you part of something, you just can't do what you want to do. For real. Right. Seriously, because you part of a whole group. We structured in like in jail. That's why like a lot of cities get mad. When I get mad, they try to take advantage of us because people from Chicago, we so structured in. A guy in my mob can't just do what he want to do. You got to go see me. You got to see what's happening. You know what I'm saying? For real, you can't just go do what you want to do. Right. You got a lot of guys like I remember I was in Milan, Michigan. You had these guys talking about, they like Johnny this, your guys running crazy, they're doing bad things. I like, okay. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get on top of that. But when they people do something bad, they can't control them, right? So I said, okay, y'all can't control y'all's. When y'all come to me, ask me something about my guys, I'm like, I can't control them. All right, even though I can't control them because they couldn't control theirs. You see what I'm saying? They were using our structure against us.
Wow. Yeah, that's unfortunate, man, that because I do remember that and reading about that the L. Rookins was when they first started, when your uncle started, it was all about the community. He was the voice for the community, and we wanted to protect our community and keep, us safe, because of what was to come later on. But to see you, now and listening to you, intelligent brother, did a lot of great things, in the city and started playing ball and then got into the streets, man. And now seeing you now, what you're doing and uplifting the community still, got your documentary out. That's why I don't want to share too much. I want people to go check out your documentary too, because most of the stuff you're talking about right now is in your documentary. So I want to make sure people go check that out too, your documentary, and I'm gonna definitely put it on our timeline so people can see it, man, right there. So to all our listeners, man, make sure you go check out Redemption, man. It's right there. It's on Vaughn TV. That's what I heard Alvin tell us that it's on Vaughn TV, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Al just joined us. Al, what you got, man? How you doing, Al?
Everything's good, man. I just want to say thank you all for this opportunity. And I want to say thank you, Johnny, for a year of just being transparent. Again, a lot of times we just don't want to be transparent. So to sit in front of a camera for a year and be transparent and really let me delve into his life, man, that's huge. Again, the documentary's on Vine TV. Friday, it'll be on YouTube. And Monday, it'll be on Tubi TV.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I watched most of it already, Bob. I don't know if you watched it yet. Have you watched it?
Nah, I'm gonna watch it though, man. I'm gonna definitely watch it, man, because Chicago, man, we unique with the storyline, and then with Johnny Ford and the history of his family. I mean and that's why I wanted to really get on, Lib. I was like, I want to hear about all of the stuff that happened at the I was reading up on it, like you was working at the health club or the boys club or some club up
Yeah,
north.
yeah, Lakeshore. I was working. I was like a top trainer at the Lakeshore club, athletic club on Fullerton. You know, when they came and got me the last time. You know, and it was, you can understand, the federal government is so tricky because the case against me was really a weak case, but because I've been in the system before, it's hard to go to trial when, you know what I'm saying, when the case is, you know, when you've been in the system before. The case probably carried 3 years, but because of my name and who I was, you know what I'm saying, it's like it gave me actually like 14 years with it. I want, you know what I'm saying,
Damn.
I had like a 17-year sentence on this, you know what I'm saying. So it was
Wow.
it's yeah, I mean, the case carried like 30 months. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand now with your background type situation in the feds, they charge you double. I mean, like if you're facing 10, you be facing 20. If you're facing 5, you're facing 10. If you got like a previous conviction, and it's so unfair to people in the system. You know what I'm saying? They charge you basically for what you did a long time ago. You know, like you can have 2 convictions in state, never go to jail for it, catch a one in the feds, and they can career criminal you, which is so unfair. You know, the system is
Wow.
so unfair. You know, the federal government is like I said before. Like I had some people tell my uncle, like, they don't have nothing to prevent you from getting sick. You know what I'm saying? Once you get it, you know what I'm saying? That's why I tell all my guys, get your chest x-ray. Just tell me you got chest pains before they can x-ray your chest. Even though if you don't have it, just get it, you know, some before it happens. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when it happens, it's too late. You're already on the ground. You're out of there. You know,
Right.
Right.
they don't got nothing in the system to prevent you from getting sick. They got something after you get it, or
Right.
when it's happened to you. That's why you got to do it yourself. Like, have my chest examined so you can know if your heart problems or if you got chest problems, or whatever. Then they'll fix it. But a lot of times when they do that, it's too late. But this is a new thing I'm trying to, like, promote to all my guys in the system. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you got people in the system, just not changing the sum a little bit. They're scared to come home. You know, like you like night before you come home, you be so excited. You got pretty much a lot of people scared to come home. You know why? Because they're coming home to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Wow.
Or just imagine a guy who had a bunch of stuff, and now you're coming home, and people expect him to be that guy again. That's why you see the people coming back to jail. People put that pressure on him to be that guy again. So he
Oh,
go. You see what I'm saying? When he came, before he left 20 years ago, he was that guy. He come home, he ain't that guy no more. He feel like a loser. He want to go. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel like
so
he's
he
a reason.
turned right back to it.
He turned right back to it, and the streets didn't change, people didn't change, and bam, he right there.
Yeah.
The game didn't change because it don't take. Let me tell you something. Life in the streets changes every 6 months. You've been going 10 years, 15 years. Oh my God, everything is different.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Everything is different. You know what
So
I'm
so
saying? But
John,
you got,
so
pardon.
Johnny, I want to ask you this though. When you got into the game, right? You started doing your thing in the streets. Uh, did you ever think about it's a possibility that you can go to prison for this, or you was just like, man, I'm just gonna do what I do and whatever happens, happen? Because the reason why I'm saying that, because I know there's some listeners who probably got a child or somebody that's in the streets doing not the right thing. I just want to know, like, how can we help them by sharing your story and telling them what was your thought process when you was going through this?
But my thought process was crazy. And my thing is, I didn't think I was gonna live to be 25. So I said, my thing is, either I'm gonna be dead at 25, or I'm gonna have life in prison. Neither one of them happens. Neither one of that happens. So I feel like I got like an extra life now. But that was my mental. That's what kept me going and driving. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't have that mental like that. People,
Damn, it was getting good. It's getting
you
good,
know what I'm
man.
saying?
Oh, he
But
back,
my
he back.
but my mental was already, you know what I'm saying? My mental was like, I'm gonna be dead at 25 anyway. And so I can remember when I was 25, like, here this. I can remember me saying when I was 25 years old, like, here you go. But yeah, But that was my thought process.
Wow. Wow. So maybe, it could be some kids just thinking like that too, man. Let me get what I can because I'm gonna either go and I'm gonna be locked up, or either killed, because somebody's after me because of what I got and what I've accomplished. So I just want to know, how can we help these shorties so these shorties can stop shooting and killing each other, because they don't get no bigger name in Chicago than your uncle, who was that dude, and then you fall right up under that. So how I want to know, how can we help these youngsters in the city now, Johnny?
If I could add something, Johnny, one thing Carl Harris said was always have an out. I think Johnny said it best. You either gonna be dead or incarcerated. Carl Harris said always have an out. He will never say he wasn't in the streets, because that'd be false flagging. He said, I was in the streets, I got an out, I got out of it. Go ahead, Johnny.
I pretty much said the same thing before, you know what I'm saying? Like me telling a guy, hey, don't do this, don't do that. It'd be like I'm a hypocrite, because they know how I did my thing in the street. But I'm telling people now, you really, you can do this, but get you out for real. Get you like, say in 2 years, I need to, I want to, what I'm saying, don't make no career out of what you're doing, because it's the situation is not good, being a hustler in the street, the pressure, the sleepless nights is like, long time ago, people, I used to go out to the clubs, not to go see girls or whatever. I used to go just for some relief from the days I went through for the days in the street.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I remember hustling myself, man. I tell you what, Johnny, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. In the beginning, it's fun. It's just towards the end, it becomes stressful. It's not fun anymore. All right, Pooh got a question for you. Hey, Mr. Ford, when you was the man in the streets, did you have hella females? You must have been the hood you having back there.
Watch the documentary.
No, but that goes with it. But you got that. Women go with it. But as I got older, it took me a little while to get some things together. Think about this. You got a watch on cost $100. You got a necklace cost $100. Your car costs $200. I'm coming to the club with for $500,000. Shit, who ain't gonna like me?
Right.
My thing was this. I'm gonna catch a cab to the club. I ain't gonna have on no jewelry. And the girl who liked me then, when she really find out what I'm about, she gonna love me. So that's how it brings it out there. You know what I'm saying? Because if one time I was in the club, it's so crazy. I was in the club, and a girl was in the club. She's like, Johnny Ford, everybody think he this and that, he this and that, and she talking to me though. You know what I'm saying? I said, do you know this guy? He said, yeah, I know him. He ain't nothing. Everybody think he this and that and all. You know what I'm saying? You actually know this guy. He talking to me, I swear to God, for real. So I bought the girl a drink and gave her my ID and walked away. It was so crazy.
Hoops Nation, Johnny,
cold-blooded.
Johnny, who was maybe 3 or 5 toughest players you ever had to battle or gave you problems?
Ooh, Muggsy. Muggsy Buggs was like a problem. Okay. I didn't sleep that night thinking about Muggsy. The next guy, it was these 2 guards that play Ohio State, Stokes and Taylor, was a problem. You know what I'm saying? But I think that my toughest guy, the guard, that gave me problems.
Wow.
Man, probably was George McLeod at Florida State.
George McLeod. I remember George.
We're the same conference, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
George McLeod and Sam Cassell was a problem.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the other guys like Reggie Miller, well, he was all right. Mark Jackson, like coming out of high school, Mark Jackson was a bad boy, but Pearl was #1 player in the country out here.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl Washington. So they had a bunch of guys in New York to come out. They had Pearl, Kenny Smith, Mark Jackson. They had, you know what I'm saying? So that was the guys coming on the East Coast. But I thought out of all of them, Pearl was the tough but Pearl couldn't go. Pearl was like me. He like to go left hand. Pearl was right-handed, like only can go left.
That's crazy, right?
He shoot right but go left.
As he's driving, he'll hit you with the shoulder going right. He ain't never going right. Just like Isaiah Thomas. Think about Isaiah. Right.
Yeah.
Isaiah Strong was left.
Yeah.
My left was like, you know what I'm saying? I could do anything going left. For
So
real.
why you think that? Why you think that though, Johnny? Because I just want to know, because did you practice going left a lot?
Yeah, because you remember they just tell us when we was growing up, you want to do everything with your left hand, you do with your right hand, vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So I a lot of things like in life, and like when I work out now, anything I was weak in becomes my strong point. I used to be weak going left. Now left is like I became ambidextrous in that way. You know what I'm saying? We like in Chicago. If you ain't got no bounce game, you ain't from Chicago. You ain't gonna get on the foot. You ain't gonna be on the court. Most guys in Chicago, we 6'3", so you got to be up on the floor. The only guy I know that was good in Chicago that couldn't put on the floor was Joe Steffen. You remember him from Marshall?
Yeah, from Marshall. Yeah,
he was a 6'3" center. If you put it on the floor, you can kick it out of bounds. You know what I'm saying?
right.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to have a bounce. You got to have a bounce game. You got to have a bounce game to play in Chicago. You know?
Yeah, but Joe Stiffen came out my year, and you do not want to be under the rim when Joe Stiffen goes up, because you will get dunked on. So if you ain't got no bounce, you gotta have hops, or you gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, but he got to get there though. He got to get to the basket first. Right?
Somebody got to lob it up there for him.
He got to get there. He got to lob it to him, because if he got to put on the ground, he'll never get there. See, when you got that bounce game, you can go anywhere you want to. You know what I'm saying? You can fly anywhere you want to. You got that bounce game. That's that's really important.
That's a passport, ain't it? That's the passport to Chicago.
You got to have that bounce. Like I tell my daughter now, you got to have a bounce game. That bounce game will get you where you want to go. You know.
Yeah. Bo Rab. Who was the best player you played against on the low end? This is Bo Rab.
Carl Ghostin.
Carl Go, baby.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. Carl Ghostin was so special. Oh my God. Carl went up like 5, whatever. Carl had hands like Dr. J. He was palming the basketball back then, you know what I'm saying, off the dribble. You know, that's why he shot the ball with Carl Ghostin had the best rotation I ever seen on a basketball. His hands were so big. Oh my God. That's why he got like any type of ball hit the rim and get that little bounce. He get it because his rotation in the basketball was special. You know, Carl Ghostin was the real deal.
Yeah, I believe that, man. Because when I started watching, man,
and think about it, you know what's so crazy? I used to hate him coming up. He used to make me, because he was older than me. He used to make me kind of like he the one got me like really tough. He used to make me cry. I ain't gonna tell you story, but he used to make me cry like when I was in 5th grade and he was like in 8th, and he used to be so, man, for real. You know, he used to like, you know, Carl got me. He got me tough.
I like it, man. I love it.
Yeah, Carl,
you ain't learning if you ain't crying now.
Yeah. But the thing is, it wasn't just a tough on the court. He made me just like, nigga, I get all y'all. You know what I'm saying? He kind of, gave me that kind of like sweat. Carl gave it to me early. You know what I'm saying? And once I got through that education with him, I was ready.
So he probably your most influential.
Well, he don't know it. I never tell him, because B.J. Armstrong, Bernard Jackson, who I wanted to play like. But it's so crazy. I wanted to be B.J. Armstrong. Bernard Jackson. But I got more, like I can jump high. I'm athletic. But I don't want to be this. I want to be the slow, direct game, because B game was so smooth to me, Bernard Jackson was like, he had delivered slow game. So I try to play slow. I'm a high riser and I'm a greyhound, but I wanted to be Bernard for a while.
Right. Right. But, and I heard that in the doc too, man, that Bernard Jackson got upset at you because you didn't go to Phillips, because he said you probably cost him a couple of state championships.
Ain't no question. You gotta understand this. If I would have went to Phillips, I probably wouldn't. They would have put me. I would have been small forward, power forward. You know what I'm saying? My creativity wouldn't have been at what it was, probably, because they're gonna put me on the post or whatever, because they were small. You know what I'm saying? Compared to me, like in high school, I'm playing the point. I got Tellis Frank to play for Golden State. He's 6'11". Brian Ashbury, he's 6'9". This is high school. So it's just a different. My game probably would have been different. But I would have had success there, but my game would have been different. I probably, it probably would have worked out because I knew the system in Phillips. Me, Bernard, and Carl Ghostin on the same field. The same court would have been devastating for sure. It would have been. It would have been a good thing.
So, did you win any state championships in Indiana?
No, we lost downstate like twice in a row. We lost to Troy Lewis. Down there. It's so crazy. I hate that game because he was a junior. I'm like, I coach him like, let's play man to man with these people. They got one guy, Troy. He's shooting threes, man. he got us in, he got us in a zone. But the thing about it, though, back then you played 2 games a day. So they played first. So they played first. They was able to rest. By the time we played, shit, we had to go get ready in the next 2 hours. So the advantage of playing first, you get more rest. But but the team we beat, the white boys that we beat, the first game was way better than Troy them. We beat them by like 15. It was just so much. I think I laid it. I got up on it. That we should have played a man-to-man because Troy the only one killed us. I mean, this guy he was like couldn't put it on the floor, but they set picks for him all type of crazy, and he was hitting. And they had a great system. They had a great system in Anderson. They had a great system down there. But like I came out, with Steve Alford. Like the guard play we had in Indiana was Steve Alford, James Blackman, Scott Hicks, McAllister, Winston Garland. These are all the great guys from the same. We all the same class in Indiana. Like Indiana basketball compared to Chicago was so different because we playing in front of 10,000 every game.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big difference. I mean, the basketball in Indiana was crazy.
Packed house, I bet you. All right, we got another question from Hoop Baller Scoop. Johnny, you played with Dell Curry. How did y'all click on the court? And now seeing his son, Steph Curry, change the game of basketball, what's your thoughts on Steph's game?
Well, me and Dell Curry clicked from day one. We was ranked second. We was ranked second best backcourt in college that year. Number 1 was Vernon Maxwell and Moulton at Florida. So we you know what I'm saying? We was 2 to them. You know what I'm saying? Curry shot that ball crazy. He averaged pretty much 30, and they ain't had a 3. The 3 didn't come to the following year. But Virginia Tech was so crazy. Dell Curry is the greatest player to ever play the Tech. I wouldn't care if his son couldn't play. Give him a scholarship anyway. Steph wanted to go to he wanted to come to Tech.
Oh wow!
Yes, he wanted to go to VTech. They didn't offer him a scholarship.
They didn't.
No.
Oh wow!
Yeah, wow. He wanted to come to VTech.
That is stupid, right? I would have did that just like you said on GP. Just man, your dad was here. I'm gonna offer you, even if you don't come, I'm offering you.
Yeah, and Virginia Tech. Oh my God, that campus was ridiculous, man. They had like that. That was some women there was crazy in college because they had a place called Montville, Virginia, in Virginia, right? That's not a dark person from that town. Everybody there is like, so just imagine the women that came from Montville, Virginia to come there. They was Virginia Tech had it. That was a great time down there. Great time. That's why look at Dale White, Sonia, his ex-wife rather. Sonia was my girl. Sonia was like that's how Dale met her. Me and Sonia was in the same chemistry class together.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? She write letters like I love Dale. Ooh, Dale Curry this. He talking about Sonya. I'm like, man, this girl thinks about you all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like we did like a little double date on that thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was.
Wow.
But Sonya a cool girl. I remember I seen her like in the All-Star game a long time ago. But Sonya, she was All-American, like almost All-American volleyball player. You know what I'm saying? That's what Steph got his ball handling from because she was like a point guard. She didn't get it from Dale because Dale only can go one way like Al Hudson, you know what I'm saying? So his ball handler didn't come from his ball handler came from his mom. Steph's ball handler came from his mom. He looked like his mom. Dale's second son looked like him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Steph looked just like his mom. The other one looks like his dad.
So Seth and Steph, yeah.
Yeah. But Sonya, Dale, Curry, Steph looked like his mom. He like Sonya.
Well, people know they got that Michael Jordan question. Johnny, Michael Jordan, did you ever cross paths with Michael Jordan? Is he the GOAT to you? Mike Hoops Page.
I never crossed paths with Mike, but Mike is the GOAT. I mean, off the court, on the court, LeBron is right there. Before just the basketball aspect of it, you gotta give it to Mike. But my thing is, I know LeBron did some things that Mike never done. I remember LeBron's second year, everything that he endorsed, he had it here, and he was giving it away at the park. He was paying us $500 just to teach the little kids. Mike ain't never done that. This was way before, you know what I'm saying? Mike just recently started being charitable. LeBron doing this off the top. So that's what makes, as far as basketball, just straight basketball, yes. But overall, Mike can't touch LeBron on the overall being an athlete, philanthropist, all that. Mike can't touch LeBron. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the basketball player, Yeah, Mike is the GOAT for sure.
Again, Alvin and both of you guys, and I'm gonna get back to you, John. Share that, man. Share that info again so people like chiming in talking about, man, how can I watch this documentary? So they wanna find it.
Yeah. Right now, you can go to bond.tv, bond.tv. On Friday, you'll be able to go to YouTube, and on Monday, you'll be able to go to Tubi. And I don't know if y'all gave a shout out, but shout out to my man John Batson, who was really the catalyst to start this whole process.
Mm-hmm. I know he alluded to the fact that they were best friends.
Yes, sir.
We still are, man.
Hey, y'all used to go at it against each other?
Yeah, I mean, it's John Basson and Corey Harper. We were like, man, we was all the quarters together, you know. Corey was like this great baseball player. Corey could have won professional baseball. But
When
John,
did y'all come out?
It would have been 83. We came out. We would stay there 83. You know, but me and John me and John to have arguments because he's to guard me. John knew how to guard me. He's one of the guys that, you know, really was, you know what I'm saying, he used to be in my space, you know what I'm saying? So we always had it, you know what I'm saying? You know, John was a great defensive player. So yes, I ain't letting nobody pester me. So we got into some verb, but he's been my man since I was 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? His mom, his dad, his great dad was like that. Man, Mr. Bassett was like that. You know what I'm saying? The words he said, you know, still hold up, you know, to this day now. You know what I'm saying? His mom is still like, his mom is like 80-something, still gorgeous. Like, man, so he just like, they got them good genes. So yeah, John is that guy.
So Johnny, let's talk about this. We know about, you know, your uncle and all this. Why you think it's happening the way it is now? Because they don't have any structure right now, these kids, and they making up their own little, you know, it's kind of like the tree, you know, was this game, and then every branch on there has their own little, you know, clique now. Why you think that happened? And I kind of know a little bit, but why you think it happened? Because I think some of our listeners need to know why these game bangers are now, you know, starting their own little cliques and doing their own little thing and don't have nobody to answer to, really.
Yeah, one is social. The number one thing that's making it worse for us and them is social media. That's the key. I'm saying, if you take out social media, some of like half our problems will be solved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? These guys don't even want no money no more. Long time ago, somebody tried to rob you. Like, man, you got to rob me. Come, you give them $2,500. Come see me tomorrow. Pay me. I'm gonna change your life. They ain't doing that now. They don't even care about it. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about money, really. It's like that police lady that got killed. You know, this guy was trying to get $100, a couple $100 for a barbecue. She got killed. You know what I'm saying? And the second thing, if she don't have a gun on her, she never use it. She probably would still be living. So she take our gun out and got the fire, and she get our gun. So not like right now, if you don't know how to use that gun, you don't know how to use that thing for real, even if you got it on you, keep it in you, because they pretty much gonna outgun you. They coming 3-4 deep with them switches, and the switches, which is crazy now, they shooting 30 times. So once you hit the switch, it doesn't stop. They can't control it. That's why so many innocent people get shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the switch is so hard to control. You know, so once you hit that switch, once you pull the trigger, it's a 30 baht, 40 or 100, you know, whatever it is, it ain't gonna stop until you empty it. But they ain't got no control over it. You know what I'm saying? So really, if you got like somebody robbing you and you really don't know what you're doing, or you ain't got no 100 clip on you, keep it in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It'll save your life.
Wow.
You know, because they got them switches.
I was telling somebody that Johnny, one of my guys here, concealed the carry guy. He's like, that's all right. One of them shorties run up on me. I'm gonna be ready. I said, dude, you ain't got 100 rounds, bro. You got 19 rounds, baby. After that, you give me a timeout. Call Dick Vitales.
No, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when I say know what you're doing, you know, you need to know what you're doing. Like if you can shoot with both hands and you got, like, you know what I'm saying, you got 2 of them and you got, like, you know, 19 of each clip, you got a chance. But if you can't shoot with both your hands, keep them things in your pocket, for real, because you're gonna get our gun and it's gonna be ugly for you. Because they come in 3-4 deep in them cars and all of them got switches. So they each you got 3 guys in the car. They all got switches of 30. They got 90, they got 100 on you. You got what, 12, 8, 16? It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? You know, I understand you don't want to get up, but you got insurance on that thing. You know what I'm saying? For real. It's like we call it living another day. You know, live another day. But the question you want to ask about the structure part of it, there's no structure. They got inner in a leader, you may have a guy in the neighborhood. It got 4 different groups of people that's leaders, and they all maybe whatever Stones, bees, or whatever. But that's how they get out. But then when they had to end up fighting within each other, it's ugly because they all know each other, live at. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no lawyer and structure. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none
That's
of that.
where it
That's
all
what
started, though, right there.
Yeah. Ain't no structure. No, ain't no structure. So my thing is the age I'm targeting, is from like 8 to 13. Anybody under that, it's like almost a lost cause. We got to target. This was happening. We got to target the kids, girls and boys, 8 to 13. The guys right now that's like 17 or up, we just gotta let this path just pass. You can't get in their head. They don't even understand it.
Not even trying to hear it, right?
But they understand it with the drugs and the pills they're taking. They ain't got to understand it. Just like you can't think about it. You can anything they do, anything you say do is a sign of disrespect for them. If you blow your horn and they're in front of you, you get blast because you're like, why you blowing the horn? You know what I'm saying? Right. Their mental is so gone. Their mental is so gone. So you gotta let this age category just kill itself off or gel itself out. That's the only, you know what I'm saying? And then you go from there. Because they so far gone on what they believe in, they ain't listen to nothing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't listen to no one. For real. Wow. And that's sad to say that, but like okay, like if we was to really get down and dirty on it, you could change. But if we really get out and do what we want to do, it's gonna be a bunch of funerals. I mean, AI League and Gallon's gonna be rich for real. They already there anyway, but you gotta do a lot of cleaning up all over the city. And that's how who really want to do that, because you know what I'm saying, so that's like another conversation.
Right. Bob, can you see that? Can you see that question on Facebook?
Johnny Ford, love what you did for us for Berkeley and Greenwood. Help me to escape and become a positive role model.
Well, I mean, in that area back then, like in what was like the 90s, 89, 90s, that was the number one area as far as getting money in that area one time. That Greenwood Berkeley area, you probably had 4 guys over there probably making $20,000 a day, which is a lot in bags. So that area was really that was the area where it was really kind of like popping off at then. So I met a lot of guys I helped. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I was just trying to tell them, how you want to do your thing. If you're gonna do it this way and then try to get out. I was on that then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was. I helped a lot of guys in that area. I know a lot of guys in that area.
Right. So we touched on your hooping part. You and the gang doing the gang thing, and then now let's talk about this a little bit. People didn't know you was the track star too.
Yeah, the track thing. First off, when I was 10. I won a national championship with the Jesse Owens thing. They did the Jesse Owens thing in Chicago, Jesse Owens. So I won that at 10. But then I went to high school my sophomore year, my junior year rather. I had the state best with country. One of the nation's best. I was eligible for the Olympics. With 20 feet, 24.9. I could have went to the Olympics back then, but I really just did the track thing just to stay in shape for basketball. So I was ready for it. I was a little bit bound basically if I would just apply if I really wanted to, but I that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Wow. But you was an all-stater though. Was you an all-stater?
Yeah, I had the best state. I had a state best my junior year. I had the longest jump in the state. Wow. You know what I'm saying? My junior year. Matter of fact, that same year, that's when Rod Woodson played football for Pittsburgh. He won the state in hurdles. You know what I'm saying? We was downstate together. I remember him breaking every hurdle and still won the 110 hurdle. That's how powerful he was. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, the long jump, that was something as an athlete, we used to jump in it. So long jump came kind of natural to me. Plus I ran a 10-3, 10-400. So I can fly a little bit too, So that was like the combination you had in sports. Like people just stick me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'd be the top of the key, they play me at the free throw line. But I still can get around you, you know what I'm saying? It didn't really matter, But once you develop that jump shot, once I developed that mirror range, it became, you become unstoppable. But initially, it's like when we in high school, why get a jump shot? Shit, we going around you at will. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to think about that jump shot until later on once you play better competition. You know what I'm saying? But we think about we go around anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We pip it. Right. We say we hit you. Pip it. We go. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to us. The jump shot cool, but I can do this right here every day. Like it ain't nothing. It's like barbecue chicken.
Let me ask Johnny something right quickly before we get out of here.
Okay.
Hey, Johnny, is it anything that you would have done different, man?
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is I would have done a lot of things different. But me doing the things that I did got me to the point where I could believe what I believe in now strongly. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's the experience I went through. You know what I'm saying? You know, like the experience is everything. Just like with your kids, like you want to tell them something, and hopefully they take everything you tell them and let them go, and then everything you taught them, they take it and it helps them. You know, because when you can tell your kid don't do something, but when they experience it themselves, that helps them. That's more. It's a lot better for them. You know, think about it. We tell them all the time, don't do this, don't do that. My thing, I tell my kids, hopefully they experience some stuff where it don't kill them and it don't make them long lasting, but so they get it. Because a lot of times when you say it out your mouth, they do the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, so mommy, I can't say I really had no regrets, because the regrets the life I lived got me to this point where my thinking is so profound where I can just, the federal government hate that I'm a thinker. They think all, that the forts or the gang members can't think and put things together. And once they found that I could, that made me even more of a threat to the federal government. They hate that I think like I think, and my thought process. You know what I'm saying? They want us to be like, you ghetto. No, that's never. I went to college and all that stuff. I had the best of everything. Sometimes, I had to just learn how to slow down when I'm talking, but my knowledge has always been there from a kid, and they don't like that, what I'm saying? To be a thinker as a black man, to put thoughts together and people that listen to it, that's more powerful than me having a gun in my hand. You know what I'm saying? So
you got another question here, Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford, who's today in the NBA reminds you kind of your game? Who in today's game?
Today's game. Woo. Oh God. Who today's game? I'm trying to think. Who's a point guard that can really, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. We got right now, probably more so like a Paul George, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, a Paul George, so to speak. Now, he, what I'm saying, once I got my shot together, what I'm saying, he was a Paul George because he was athletic and all that 6'6", 6'7", But yeah, it was like a Paul.
Not a Chris Paul, huh?
No, Chris Paul's he's a pure point guy. He's a little short, you know what I'm saying? But like I think if more so, yeah, because I take that back. My game really was more of a Jason Kidd game because my floor game was, what I'm saying, for real. I take that back. I was more Jason Kidd than Paul.
You was a pass first guard.
Yeah, I was a pass first guy. I mean, I led our country one year. I led an assist. You know what I'm saying? That's why I averaged a lot of points. But when I had, I got Dale and I got Perry Young, who people understand. Perry Young was just like Dale, but he was just like a small forward. He was in betweener, But Perry Young, that Virginia Tech team was a dog, man, for real. Man, could nobody eat. Perry Young was special. What I'm saying? He was ahead of Dale. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Hey, let me ask Al something real quick. Hey, Al. Where do you see this documentary going, man? Because I know Hoop Dreams went crazy. What do you see it going to a national level with Johnny Ford?
Oh, it's already. It's done so well. It's shut down Bond TV a couple times right now. Again, we're just expanding on the distribution of the documentary, and then we're also working on a series with a couple of outlets about Johnny and his uncle, to not only talk about the gang side or the street organization side, but also all the great things that they were doing in the community. Me and Johnny yesterday, we were just going over some episodes. So that should be coming up by the new year. So yeah, just expanded distribution for the documentary and a series about Johnny and his Uncle Jeff.
It would probably be safe to say that the Chicago streets was a lot safer when Jeff and Larry was out here.
Oh, no, ain't no question. That's a no-brainer. You can understand this.
People won't mention it though, Johnny.
But you right now, I got some T-shirts coming out. I'm gonna stop. I'm off house arrest now, so I'm about to push a lot of things that give people more knowledge of what's really going on. You can understand this. Long time ago, say Marcus may be disciple and his mama delivered mail in his Stone neighborhood. Something happened to her. Say they rob her. Now all Marcus got to do is find out who called it for the Stones over there. Bam, we're gonna say, okay, cool. And that's mama over there. Now she got so much security, man. She's gonna be the freest woman in the world. That's how it was back then. Once we get knowledge of what's happening, they don't do that now. You ain't got nobody to go to. You ain't got no go to. Back then, you had like the Gov or whoever to read. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got that now. You see what I'm saying? And we ain't play parents. We ain't play kids to parents. It's, you know, if you got a problem with your guy, go get your man. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know what I'm saying? We ain't. There been times you go get your man. He got his kid with him. Like, all right, no, you got your son. I'm gonna pass you out. You see what I'm saying? That's how it was back then. We didn't play them kids.
Ain't
I love kids.
no
So,
etiquette now though.
No, you know what I'm saying? For real. We didn't play kids. We didn't play mamas. You know what I'm saying? For real. You know, they ain't doing none of that. None of that because the structure of the mental. You understand the kids, these kids now doing this crazy stuff. You ever see their mamas and daddies? They embarrassing. They mama and daddy throwing up gang signs. All that. Come on,
They
bro,
worse than the damn kids, Johnny. They worse than the
that's what I'm trying to say. For real, yeah. So that's what I gotta say. The age category, like, you know, the 16, 17, 18-year-olds on to 30, you gotta let them jail themselves out or kill themselves out because you can't really get to them. They gone with their thought process. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, a long time ago we say, you know, if a woman gets a certain age, it's too late for her. You know what I'm saying? Once a woman, when she's 25, 26, she pretty much got her own mentality. You want to get her like a little younger before you can put your thought process in her mind, your beliefs. Once a woman get like 25 to 30, she already believes what she want to believe. You know what I'm saying?
That's pimping 101. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, you know, we know what I'm saying. Yeah, it ain't pimping 101, but you know, hey, you know, we got a little experience with that, you know, in that situation. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Hey, Liv, just to that question down. We were just gonna ask you. Somebody asked.
Did you see Ben Wilson play, or did you play against Ben Wilson? And what was your thoughts of his game?
Ben, a lot. We played a lot at Cole Park on 85th and you know, King Drive. Ben was the special guy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because he had the touch. You know what I'm saying? He could handle it. He had the whole package back then. You know what I'm saying? It was tragic that thing happened to him like that. You know, but Ben, and what got him killed? The same thing that made him great. Ben, for a yellow guy, Ben had that dog in him. And that's that fire. That's what got him killed. Because really and truly, when he bumped his old boy, you know what I'm saying? You know, most yellow guys be back down. Ben was like, no, nigga, blah, blah, see what I'm saying? He had that fire him as an athlete still on the street. And that's kind of what like got him killed pretty much. Because, you know, had he just said, excuse me, my fault, brother, he probably still be a now. You know what I'm saying? He probably still be a now, you know, unfortunately. But Ben was special in a lot of ways, man. You know, his touch, you know, the wide shoulders, you know what I'm saying? You know, he was special. He was special in a lot of ways. You know,
Johnny, man, that's the first time somebody ever said that publicly. That if he had probably deferred to that situation, he probably would still be here now because he was fiery. So you really knew Ben.
I knew him, but ain't so much I knew Ben. I knew the lawyer that represented the guy who pulled the trigger.
Right.
My lawyer, Marion Jackson, the one represent the guy, and the guy who pulled the trigger, he's doing well now. He tell you, say, man, my people told me if I would pull a gun out to use it. He said the man, you know, bumped him, and then said excuse me. But Ben was so lost at the time, he thinking about old girl. He was chasing his girl, so he bumped him. You know what I'm saying? He mad about his girl, whatever they are having an argument. He ain't thinking about the little guy. You see what I'm saying? For real. I mean, but you know, Ben, you know, he had that fire in him. You know what I'm saying? Ben don't have that fire, Ben still be here now. You know what I'm saying? For real, you know what I'm saying? He'll still be here now. So we can't, it's like the same the thing that cost him his life, what made him great as an athlete. Because you think, like, father, yellow guy, light-skinned guy, nice-looking guy, he wasn't soft at all. You know, he had a lot, you know what I'm saying? He had that fire, you know, he had that fire in him, you know what I'm saying? For real, you know what I'm saying? You know, right. You know, you know, but but the guy who actually pulled the trigger, my lawyer represent him, you know what I'm saying? You know, Man Jackson, the great Man Jackson. So I kind of got a little history on that, you know what I'm saying? But Ben was great. I mean, he had great teams at Simeon, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anything you want to add, Johnny, man, before we let you go, you and y'all want to add something before we let you go? Because I know you said you got some T-shirts and you got some other things, you know, in the works that you're going to be doing. But if you want to share anything, go ahead and do it.
No, we just, you know, we need to come together collectively, you know what I'm saying, and see if we can come up with a problem. But the problem is, like I said, it's going to be really hard, you know what I'm saying, because of how people believe. So what we got to do is educate our people on how to live in today's society. And one reason, like I said, you got to be careful when you blow your horn. You got to be careful when you know, this everyday life, when you survive. When you're in the streets and you're driving your car, leave room for the front part of your car and the back part in case you see something we can get away. You know what I'm saying? Don't be really up on nobody, like really for your own safety. I want to educate people on just live in today's society while we're here because it's different now. You know what I'm saying? You know, like for real, you know, you say you can't really, ain't no arguing with no one. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody you got a problem with, just let them go and get out of there because it's gonna be costly right now because of the beliefs of these kids is so they so one track, you know what I'm saying? With the combination of social media and that fentanyl, the drugs, the pills they're taking, you can't win out. You can't win that battle. They'll never understand you, and you'll never understand them.
That's a fact.
I want to thank you, brothers, for this format, man. Again, man, distribution is everything. We can have the greatest thoughts, but if we don't have a way to come together and put it out there, it's just at the crib. So I want to again thank you all for this opportunity, and I just hope that at some point we can get back to playing in the parks, man. These kids do not play in the parks no more. Everything's AAU gratification, but when we play in the parks, you got that dog, you got that struggle, you got that. Hey, man, if I don't win, I'm gonna be sitting here for 9 or 10 games. But now, cats don't even go to the park no more, man.
But Liv, one thing I do want to say, you know what's the biggest thing? I think one of the biggest problems we're right having now. Where are our youth centers? You remember our youth centers?
Yes.
Think about it. When you were kids, think about it. This is a true story. When you're young and you playing, you do something well, and people are like, "Ooh, Liv, he good at basketball." That makes you positive, make you keep going. Your hunger for it goes, right? So we need that as a young kid. Think about it. When you're 7 or 8 years old, they talk about Libby's one of the best basketball players in the area. That keeps you going. When girls say, you know, when women say something about you, know, we take it to heart. That boy can play ball. we ain't got that no more. We ain't no youth centers. Right. You know what I'm saying? And think about it. If we need to get money like from the state or whatever, put some youth centers, and it's gonna create some jobs, but it's gonna help these young guys find something they like. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to swim. Think about it. I learned how to swim in a youth center. Became like a great swimmer from learning from a youth center. It didn't come from like in high school. In high school, it's an afterthought. I learned this like when I was 10 or 11 years old, all from a youth center. We don't have them anymore. And it's going to create jobs in the neighborhood. And it's going to create some, some positive reinforcement in case the police, you know what I'm saying? It's going to create all that. Oh, it's going to be an all-around positive atmosphere just with the youth center in these areas.
That's dope. I like that. True story, man. Wow. I love it. All right, Bob, what you got?
Man, I'm just glad, man, that we had a chance to get him on, man. And I tell you what, Johnny, man, you were very exciting, bro. You very candid, man. You took over, man. You took over the show, man, and I appreciate being on this one. Al, thanks for being persistent with that. You know, we had to get Marcus. You know Marcus. He be busy, man. That's the legend. That's the NBA veteran now.
Hey, man, it's all about blessings, and when he blesses, you have to keep it moving. So,
hey, Marcus, I'm still mad about when y'all lost to Michigan in that championship game. When y'all beat them 3 times that year, and a little kid, I remember the shot he shot like a little tip shot. I remember that guy from Michigan. I forgot his name.
Sean Higgins.
Y'all had the same. You and him had the same type of game. I never forget it, man. Y'all beat Michigan 3 times in the conference and everything. They lose to them in the chip. I'm still feeling that,
man. Hey, that's another story, man. We'll talk about that another time, man. I think Lou Henson just tried to change up stuff, man, and that's what happened.
All right, brothers. Good time. Good talking to y'all, bro.
Yeah,
y'all be good.
Love you, bro, man. Be safe too, bro.
For sure, exactly.
Right,
yeah.
Johnny Ford, my man Al in the building, baby.
Hey, man, that was a dope show, man. A dope show, man.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Just to hear Johnny, share his story, man. And again, man, make sure y'all go check that out.
I'm gonna watch that today, man.
No, I watched it. I literally watched the show, man. I watched the documentary. I mean, it was on point, man. He had Carl in there talking. Carl Harris was in there talking. And just hearing, all the things that he went through, man, I think it's definitely going to help some people, man. Definitely. I think we're going to get, my man on, Carlos from Detroit, next week, because, he a good friend of mine too, because I met him, when I used to live in Houston, Carlos. So Carlos, he's going to join us, next week. I'm already on in Hoop Ball and Scoop, so I know you already had shared it, the info with him, but Yeah, me and Carlos go way back, so I'm gonna definitely reach out to him and get him on the show as well next week. Me and Bob. So I will send Bob the info on him so Bob can do his little research, and we definitely gonna have him on too. So yeah, Pooh, thank you. So give shout outs, Bob, and let's shut it down.
Oh man. First of all, y'all, we want to thank all y'all for watching our ball Chicago. Let me go to the stream real quick. Man, that was a good show, man. I tell you, we got Hoop Baller Scoop, Pooh, is that
Glover
Linnea?
Love.
Glover Love. Is that Linnea?
Let me see. I can't see.
I hardly can pronounce
Linnea Jones.
Okay, yeah, Linnea Jones. Who else we got?
Wayne Johnson.
Bo Rab. Shout out to you. You said they over there acting a fool at AR Leaks right now, huh?
Wow.
Boy. I tell you, boy.
Somebody, this is a new person. I never seen him on our show. Pappy Gunn. 1919. I am a millionaire. So he was on our show today. Yeah, man. D'Angelo McCoy, thank you for joining us. I think you was one of the first. I think this is probably your first time joining us too, I think. Frederick, Facebook Blue,
Yeah,
FD Blue, Ebony Williams.
Deontay Pfeiffer. What a great show, fellas. Y'all keep them coming.
Imani, my bad. Imani Williams.
You said Wayne Johnson, right?
Yep, I said Wayne Johnson.
Yeah. D'Angelo McCoy.
Hoop Nation. Mike's Hoops page. Ricky Robinson. And some of these questions we couldn't get to. We apologize, but we try to get to as many as we can. But when our guests start talking, man, we got to let them talk. We don't want to interrupt them when they start talking. But a lot of great questions too that we had today. So thank you guys for that too. So yeah, man, let's shut it down, man.
That was a good one, man. But I want to thank y'all for watching All Ball Chicago again. Make sure y'all swing over to that website. I finally got a new device that I'm happy with, and I'm gonna be letting that thing out. It's black on black.
Oh, let me see it.
The replica will be here in a minute. But I finally got settled. I had got one other one. I didn't like it. It resembled that one. But I had to get new. I wanted to look like everybody else with the bells and whistles. So cost a little bit more. So we're gonna try to do it like that.
You got a new culture 2.
It's gonna be the culture 2, baby. Yeah, man. We're gonna keep it going, man. It takes 5 years to build a business. So, man, if you're trying to do something and it don't work in a year, you gotta do it for 5. You can't graduate from high school in 1 year. You don't graduate from college in 1 year. But you don't get a raise.
But you know what, Bob, man? I'll say this to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep believing in what you all about. Pushing your device, right? You're gonna get some haters. You're gonna get some haters, right? But you know what you're capable of doing. You believe in your product. Just keep pushing it, man. Things gonna happen the way it's supposed to. You keep putting it out in the universe, it's gonna manifest itself.
I believe that, Marcus. I believe that.
Yes.
And on that note, man, I'm finna go eat some bad food because I'm hungry. I'm finna go fry me some chicken. I got some chicken. I'm gonna fry me some wings, Liv, man. Thanks for coming on, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back next week.
Peace.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Chicago, Chi-Town, Chicago, Chi-Town, Chicago, Chi-Town, Chicago, Chi-Town. town.